White woman.
White boy.
White. Entitlement.
White.
Centering.
White.
Silent.
Boy.
Is there a black person around here?
There's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
That escalated quickly.
Let's be clear what's happening in this country. It's Nazism. Republicans are Nazis.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Let's have some Bible. You know, when you're like me on social media, you're usually using a keyboard, and with the said keyboard comes a person behind it, and with that said person behind it can have an opinion. Yeah, crazy concept, I know. What the fuck? Anyone can have an opinion here, just like MattWalsh from the DailyWire, who's starting the new, honestly, I'm going to call it comedy of 2024, which might even be the best comedy that we get, AmIRacist, a mockumentary that's going into a lot of deep dives and a lot of personal issues. Some issues clearly have sparked a lot of controversy online. Well, let's see, shall we? When you look at the totality of the circumstances, AmIRacist, MattWalsh also did a little number some time ago called What is a Woman? One already took another deep dive into another mockumentary special, understanding of what makes a woman, where now we have another mockumentary special done by MattWalsh from the DailyWire that's going to be touching on the racial issues, and even questions like this.
I'll look around the room and point to who we believe is the most racist person in the room.
Due to his general appearance and even being recognized, he had to go undercover with, well, not the world's best disguise, I'm sure. So, Matty, Mr. Sinister's gonna get your 6 on this one, buddy. Yeah, none of you would ever fucking know. In this movie, MattWalsh set out with one simple thing and one simple thing alone: to give people just enough rope to honestly and really hang themselves on with their own opinions and viewpoints, talking from average people, average folks, always after now gearing up and trying to understand why people think the way they do. Even those like her that get paid thousands and thousands of dollars just to sit down and talk with them. It was astounding the amount of money that people pay to sit down and talk about DEI. It's absolutely mind-boggling, but it's something Matthew Walsh decided to point out. And I gotta say, he pointed it out very well. He was respectful, but he stuck to his own opinion. One of the big controversial points that he picked on was dressing up his daughter as the Hawaiian princess Moana, getting her the costume and dressing her up as somebody that essentially is even a different nationality, and understanding how she thought about it and why he thought it was a good idea, only to have it turned back and say that inevitably all goes back to racism. I will say MattWalsh, as I mentioned earlier, did use his own tactics of giving them their own rope to hang themselves with in his own mind and his own prerogative, especially at this table scene, which you get brought together by a bunch of crazy old white ladies that clearly hated the country and blame everything on racism. But they get to pay each other money to call each other racists, which is just some of the themes in this movie where it's hard to understand why some people will even pay money to do these things when they try to force and spread so much hatred. But when you look at things collectively, who is the one spreading hatred? Is it truly hateful, or are you interpreting it as hateful? One thing he did try to do is get the Washington Monument renamed from the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument. Naturally, going around asking people these kinds of questions, you get a very mixed bag of answers. Some you might expect, some you might not. The woman MattWalsh is sitting down with here, her name is Robin. She is essentially what's known as a DEI god who believes severely and substantially in white privilege, but she's believing what she wants, which is fine. But he tells her to give his employee, because he's a person of color, reparations, and sure as shit, she gives him money. I gotta say, collectively, this is not one of the general movies that I decide to review, but because so many creators have decided to be attacked online because they've decided to, I'm gonna stand my ass in the fire with you. Honestly, yeah, this was very good. It was interesting. I love perspective. I love seeing and understanding how you humans up there think, how you guys come to your reasoning, and what makes all of you unique. Because at the end of the day, all of us weird, twisted fucks, we're different, we're unique in our own little fucked up ways. That is all. And it looks like I can finally take this costume off now. Oh, God, it's hot. Honestly, I'm going to recommend that everyone see this movie. It's something to think about. It gives you a good means of perspective on what other people choose to believe and choose to see. But as something I've always thought about, think how you want, act how you want, but just don't be a fucking dick about it. Let people be themselves, but if you're going to try and shove your opinion or beliefs on the innocent, and that innocent person claps back on you, understand that just because your opinion is different than theirs doesn't mean they're right, doesn't mean you're wrong. Just means you need to not be a fucking asshole about it. Until we meet again.
You're a dude.